Sometimes we get rebuked for doing the things that Yahweh is convicting us in our hearts to do. Sometimes we'll get rebuked even by people in our families for doing the things that we believe Yahweh wants us to do. I'm sure most of you have been rebuked for keeping Yahweh's commandments. And for His sake, we will suffer rebuke. But there's one thing that you can find strength in when they are casting your name as evil and separating you from their company and showing hatred toward you because you want to follow the Son of Man. Yahshua will call you blessed. Blessed are you when men hate you, Luke 6:22, and when they exclude you and revile you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice in that day. Rejoice and leap for joy, for indeed your reward is great in heaven. For in like manner their fathers did to the prophets. Can you imagine that? Just jump up and down and woohoo! That man, chalk one up for me in the kingdom. Oh, what are you talking about, the kingdom? Oh, let me tell you about the kingdom. Let me tell you how Yahweh keeps score. It's different than the way the world keeps score. Let me tell you about how much joy I have awaiting me. And maybe I can't even fully explain it. The way I like to put this verse is, when, let's say you went to the deserts of Africa or South America, somewhere that's got a famine going on for many, many years, and you meet this young man. The only thing he's ever had his whole life was mush. That's all he's ever had. He's never had anything else. Mush and water. And so come up to him and say, let's say you try to explain to him what apple pie tastes like. Can you describe it to him, what it tastes like? No, you just say, well, it's just really good. That's all I can tell you. Here, all way you could ever know how good apple pie is if you actually tasted it yourself. Well, I think Yahshua knows exactly what is awaiting us when we bear these things the way He did. But He can't really explain it because we have no reference point of anything better than what we see in this age. There's no reference point that we can look to and say, it's better than, or it's like this, or it's better than anything we can even imagine, let alone practice or be a part of. And so all these people seeking these little temporary pleasures, it's nothing. Because Yahweh, who is the author of what pleasure is, says at His right hand there are pleasures forever. And so who among us would say, I'll take the little pleasure now and a whole lot of pain later in judgment and lake of fire, rather than saying, I'll suffer now this light affliction so that I may gain a whole lot of pleasure later. Not just later, but imagine your little tiny dot of time that you live in, this little speck of time you live in, compared to eternity. It's like a little speck in the little grain of dust on the earth, a little grain of sand compared to all the sand in the whole world. It's a little tiny grain of sand. That's our time in this age now, compared to eternity. Can you imagine that? And who will be willing to suffer in this little speck of sand of time, so that in the remainder of time, in the rest of the sands of time, we will be able to live in joy forevermore. And so this is what we do when we are having to suffer in this age. Is we get the opportunity to really experience joy in the age to come. You know what that takes? That takes faith. It takes faith. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith in the earth? It takes faith.